Are you ready for fan-driven Razorback talk? For the fans, by the fans. This is Inside the Hog Pen with your hosts, Razorback Zach and Marcus MC Carlton.
Oh, everybody. Happy 2024. Here we are, the first edition of 2024 of Inside the Hog Pen. Your boy MC and D-Matt in the house with us tonight, helping us out a little bit.
How's it going, boys and girls,
going.
ladies and gentlemen?
It is going. I mean, if the next couple weeks or so go as fast as my Christmas vacation went, I mean, good Lord, man. It seemed like I blinked twice, and we went from December 20th to January 2nd when I had to go back to work. So it's did you have a good one? I had a good one.
I didn't get very many days off, but I did get a couple. So
well, hey, couple's better than nothing, man. Hey,
that's right.
It's been a couple weeks since we've been on here, and we got a lot to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. Welcome into the show, everybody. As I said, first show of 2024. Now, look, I'm fighting a little bit of a funkiness with my voice tonight.
Man,
I promise I'm not going through puberty again, but my voice is over here cracking like Peter Brady. So we'll do what we got to do to get through this tonight. But welcome into the show. You can leave us a review, just like Zach talks about all the time. We'll take any review you got, positive,
Don't
negative.
leave 4 stars. Do not leave 4 stars. We already did that for y'all.
Yeah, either 3 or 5, right?
That's right.
So we'll take anything you got on the reviews, man. Positive, negative. If you think we suck, tell us. You may not like what we say back to you, but at least we know you're watching.
I'll respond.
I mean, I'll respond. It may just be a hey, thanks for watching, but I'll respond.
Hey, and then you can't forget about over our year.
Yeah, you can't forget about our podcast. Yeah. Our podcast is now available on all the major platforms. It is basically a recap of what we do here live. If you miss a live show, you can get on your favorite podcast provider and search for Inside the Hog Pen, and we'll be there. Now, we are going to have in 2024, we've planned this out. We've got a few things cooking right now for some podcast exclusives. We did one right at the end of football season. Got pretty good feedback off of it. Now, some of the predictions we made didn't come true because nobody saw Bobby Petrino coming back to football, and we didn't even touch on that because we thought that was out there in like Powerball land territory or something. So anyway, podcast is out there. You can take a listen. Again, leave a review there. Tell us what you like. Hey, tell us what you want to hear on the podcast. If there's something that you want to hear, we're always looking for good topics for podcast stuff. We've got some stuff planned. Like I said, we got some super fan stuff planned. We're working on some special guests. So
hey, we want to be the most interactive show on the internet.
I mean, we're trying to be, that's definitely what we're trying to do. So as I mentioned, this is the first one of 2024. And since we were here last, man, there's been a lot of stuff go down. We'll start with hoops because we're going to flip the script tonight. Normally we talk football. I'm tired of talking football. I want to talk some hoops. And with this team, man, I don't know, but it was kind of nice to see 100 points put up in the last game. That was much needed. The defense still needs a little work, but you put up 106. You're going to give up a few points, especially when you play somebody like UNC Wilmington that likes to get up and down the floor like they do. The biggest thing I saw,
slightly controversial.
What's that?
Can I say something a little controversial?
Absolutely.
Pinion is a defensive liability.
Well, and I think that's why you don't see him very much.
I think we have a couple of liabilities.
I kind of feel similar about Battle, but he provides more on the offensive end than Pinion does. But I mean, he's the thing with Battle to me is that he's just a little wild.
I will say it looked like he calmed down a lot in the last game. I don't know how many points he had offhand, but I know he had a solid night like always, but he didn't seem like he was out of control, especially after shooting a wild 3-pointer that goes in. But he seemed more in control than he usually does. And how about Minifield? I did not see this coming.
I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't either. I mean, I knew the guy could play a role, but that's a perfect segue, man. Because I had another.
Man, we had this planned, didn't we?
Yeah, we had this. Yeah, we're totally professional here. The Minifield effect. Not only was he Player of the Week last week, voted on by the SEC. It was not a co. I don't believe I saw a co. I just saw SEC Player of the Week. 32 points, and I didn't feel like that he really forced anything.
No, he's letting the offense come to him. He seems really good in that pick and roll that Muss likes to run, and he sometimes it looks like he's forcing a couple of passes, but I mean at the same time, you take the good with the bad. You take a 30-point game with a 3 turnover night too. So
yeah, and I mean that's and you got to remember the first game he played, I believe, was the game in Little Rock, right before Christmas, because he had just got his waiver. So, I mean, he's still, technically, as far as game time goes, he's knocking rust off. He's still kind of finding his way a little bit. And I would say he found it the other night in the game.
It seems like that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Tremont Mark. It seems like Mark has been really, he's been our focal point on offense.
Yes.
And that's not a good thing. I don't think he was really that big of an offensive player at Houston, but, him being able to just like kind of focus on defense, let Minifield worry about the offense is kind of what that revelation was that made that 100-point outburst come to fruition. Oh man, I'm hitting the SAT words today. I'm sorry.
So here's something I want to point out about Minifield in the game he had. Okay, he was 8 out of 14 from the field, including 3 of 7 from 3-point range. I'll take that every game. If he goes 3 out of 7, I'll take it every game. But here's the big one. 13 out of 17 at the free throw line. He shot 17 free throws in that game. I didn't realize he'd shot that many free throws.
I thought he was a little bit smaller when he transferred over, but he didn't look as small as they say. I think he came in at like 6'1" or whatever, but it seemed like he's closer to like 6'3" than he is. And I was kind of worried about that with the whole Chris Likes effect. And now that he's not just a tiny guard out there, he looks like he can size up any guard that comes up to him. Might give up an inch or two, but it's not anything crazy like a 5'11" on a 6'3".
Yeah, and that was the thing with Likes is that you want to talk about a defensive liability. If he couldn't jump out into a passing lane, even a small guard was going to take him down to the post and post him up.
Likes was our free throw specialist at the end of the game.
Yes, he was our clutch free throw guy at the end of the game. I mean, he shot like an insane percent from the free throw line. And, I'm looking over these stats from the Wilmington game. It seemed like the offense might have found their way a little bit. I'm hoping that, the Minifield effect, as we've been talking about, I'm hoping that that's kind of the missing link on this offense to provide them some stability. And, when we get in that mode to where we start milking clock and running down the shot clock to about 5-6 seconds before we take a shot. Hopefully, if we can keep running things through him, if he can't find the shot, maybe he can find the open man, because to me, he doesn't play like a shooting guard. He plays like a point guard who can score.
Yeah, that's kind of what I gathered out of it too. He's kind of a slasher, and sometimes he can pull up and hit a free throw line jump shot. I don't really see him as like a back to the basket. I'm gonna do a couple of moves, get past you, and then shoot it. He's more of a slasher. He's the ideal pick and roll point guard that we've been needing. And if him, Mark, and Battle can all just kind of mesh, and I gotta bring up something here in a second. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head.
All right.
Him, Battle, and Marks can like keep on this little same page that they've been running. And this team is going to be dangerous. And what I was going to bring up, where has Brazil been? Is he on vacation?
He may be down on vacation somewhere tropical, like where Sarah Swish is right now. I don't know, man. He hasn't been showing up real well. I'm looking at his stats. He ended up, 12 points, 8 rebounds, but he fouled out.
He's got to find that killer
minutes.
instinct.
Yeah.
He is too good. Like he is, what is he, 6'10"?
Yeah, 6'10". But he's got a wingspan of like 7'3" or something. Yeah.
He is, I mean, not Wemby size, but he is
right
size of Kevin Durant. If he could just hone in his shooting and like just be able to kind of take over that game and like get that dog out, like he's special. That's what he was doing at Missouri when he was the player. That he showed why he was the player. But you got a lot of players around him. He's kind of taking a back seat, and it's not been good. But he's got to come out.
I need to see more of the Trayvon Brazile that played the Duke game.
Yes.
That night, I think he ended up with like 19 and 14 or something like that.
He has and like he was 4 or 5 blocks too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And that's what I need to see more of now that we're getting into SEC play, because the competition is going to ramp up. And man, it starts right away. It starts this Saturday.
They trounced USC.
They did. And I'm not sure how good USC is, but I was listening to radio today and they were talking about Auburn has won like their last 4 or 5 games by average margin of victory of about 18 or 19 points. So, I mean, they're going out and just, pimp slapping people and taking care of business. And Pearl is going to have those guys pumped to the moon to come back in here because I guarantee you he remembers what happened the last time Auburn came into Bud Walton Arena when they had that number 1 out beside their name. So he's going to have his guys ready to go. He's a good coach. He will have everybody ready. I need to see more from Brazile. I did see on Twitter before we got started with the show here that Musselman said that Monday, Battle did not practice Monday, practiced a little on Monday or Tuesday and practiced a little bit today. So they're hoping that he will be back. He got hurt late in the game versus Wilmington. I guess it was an ankle, I think. But when he hobbled off the floor, man, they got him back to the locker room pretty quick, and we didn't see him again.
Yeah, I think he just kind of turned it a little bit. But, I mean, it's just one of those things. Time heals all wounds sometimes.
Yeah, okay, so let's jump into the live fan feedback right off the bat. I mean, it's like clockwork, man. When we go on the air for the show, Casey's going to be here. Casey says, "Hey guys, what's up? Happy New Year." Well, Happy New Year to you as well, Casey. Jesse Randall Thurman comes in and says, "Good to see MC. Glad the show's back." Hey, we're glad to be back, man. We took a couple weeks off for Christmas vacation and got our Clark Griswold on, and now we're ready to go back to work. So Jesse's got another comment here. Says Brazile did look a little more aggressive Saturday than previous games, but still has to be more assertive on both ends. 100% agree.
100%.
I would almost rather him be to the point where
I feel like he talks a little bit too much noise, and he gets too involved in that. Because Devo was doing that too at the start of the year, and they've kind of reeled Devo back in a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I kind of give Devo a hard time sometimes over the way he plays. He had a pretty good game. I think he ended up with, let's see here, 14 points on 5 of 7 shooting from the field, including 3 of 5 from 3-point range. 14 points and 6 assists for Devo. Only 1 turnover and 3 steals. It's a pretty good game for Devo. I will take that. If that's the kind of Devo we can get for SEC play, I think good things are coming. So Casey's got another comment. Says, "I love Muss and his passion, but he has to get his temper under control. I don't want to see him with the record for ejections." Casey, get out of my head, because this was one of the things I had in my mental notes that I wanted to bring up. That I'm with you 100%, and I understand that there's times that you're going to jump on the refs. I mean, crap, I do it at my daughter's high school games. But when you start complaining on every single call, to me it kind of loses the luster of the times when you need to really get on the refs and try to make your point. So I'm with you 100% there. I want to see him kind of control it a little more and save it for, if there is a key point where there's just an absolutely blown call, and let's face it, SEC officials, there's going to be a blown call at some point that is going to get you to, get Muss's goat a little bit, if you will.
What do you want to bet that this game is going to, the first half foul margin is going to be Auburn +7?
Yeah.
What do you want to bet?
Whew. Let me see. How many free throws did we shoot? Oh, okay. So in the Wilmington game, we shot 43. We were 33 of 43 on free throws, 76.7%. You shoot 75%. I've always said you shoot 75% from the free throw line or better, you're going to win. Now, it's not like that Wilmington didn't shoot their fair amount too. They shot 34 free throws. So, I mean, this was just a foul fest, man. It was just, it's hard enough for teams to find a rhythm with the media breaks that you have. And then if there's a stop for a review or something like that, but then you throw in that many fouls on top of it, and it's wild, man. But
and that's a really good point that nobody really kind of thinks about is the momentum. If you remember going back towards the Duke game when it was in the NCAA tournament, every time we got a run going, Coach K, instant timeout.
Yep.
Calm them down. And guess what? That's the reason why they kind of just took over on us. But, like, I think Muss has been doing a little bit better this year on taking those timeouts. I don't know if you've noticed that. I feel like he has been taking a couple of, no, we're going to get together real quick timeouts. Yeah. When he first got here, he would save all of his timeouts. He'd take them on vacation with him.
He'd take them back to the locker room when the game was over, man. But that was a gripe of mine that I had previously with him, because there's times when you can feel that momentum shift, and if you need nothing else than just to call timeout, pull your guys to the sideline and say, hey, let's calm down. Let's go back to doing what was working for us, and just kind of let everybody reset their brain a little bit. He tried to play through that early on, but I kind of like it better now to where, if the other team goes on 4, 6, 8 point run, call that 30-second timeout, let everybody calm down, draw up a play, and let's go out and kind of break their momentum a little bit. If nothing else, just taking them off the floor for that 30 seconds or so will affect them in some way or another. So, but I'm interested to see what happens Saturday with this game. I have no idea what to expect. I expect Arkansas to be about, I'm going to say about a 4-point dog at home, because what is it, playing at home is worth 3. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see what we're looking at right now.
That would put it at about, 7 total. Bud Walton, if it's packed like it should be, it's worth more than 3 points in my opinion. But we'll see. ESPN2, 1:00 Saturday. Auburn comes in, and SEC play gets underway, man. And when it gets cranked up, I've got the schedule here. I'm going to pull this up so you can see like our next 3 games. And
it starts going quick.
Man, it goes quick. You got Auburn up, depending on which poll you look at, they're either 25 or 24. You got them Saturday. The following Wednesday. Now, Georgia, don't overlook this game, because going to Georgia and playing down there in I can't remember the name of the arena. It's an older arena. It's very seldom is it full, but it's just something about playing down there that, it causes teams to struggle. That won't be easy. And then if you've kept up with Razorback basketball any at all over the past 25, 30 years, when we go to Gainesville, we struggle. I think we've won 1 game down there since 1995, and that was like 2 years ago. Correct.
Stegman Coliseum.
That's the arena at Georgia. So after Auburn, man, it doesn't calm down any. And then you see down there January 16th, we come back home, but you're going to play a very tough Texas A&M team at home.
That's always looking to embarrass us.
Always. There's something about, Buzz Williams. I take nothing away from him. He's a good coach, and he always finds a way to get his team to play their best when they're playing against Arkansas. So, but it all kicks off Saturday, 1:00, ESPN2. So we'll see what happens Saturday. We're going to step aside, take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get into some football news. We had a little bit of breaking news right before we went on the air. We'll touch on it. We'll touch on portal, coaching changes, and a little bit of everything. So you can see that when we come back from break as soon as I can get it pulled up here. There we go. There we are right there. So you're watching Inside the Hog Pen, and we'll be back right after this.
Ooh, I lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. I hit the Zach on y'all.
There it is. There it is.
Ooh.
Welcome back inside the Hog Pen, first edition of the 2024 New Year, January 3rd here. D-Mad and your boy MC here holding it down tonight. Zach is, as you know, he's on, shall we say, special assignment in the happiest place on earth with his better half down there. I believe she's going to be doing the marathon and they're just down there taking a good vacation. And Sarah Swish is out on assignment as well. She's in a little more tropical location. I'm a little jealous of both of them, honestly. I'd take you to one of those.
You're sending me on assignment tomorrow, keeping everybody busy.
Yeah, no doubt. We're spreading all over the place, man. We've gone international.
Well, let's see what you have to say about what Jesse says. Any decision on show schedule with the conference?
Okay. Jesse, thank you very much for bringing that up, because that was one of my mental notes that I had I wanted to bring up. So if you noticed, when I pulled the schedule up, there's some Wednesday night games that are going to be taking place. SEC usually plays Wednesday, Saturday, unless it's part of Super Tuesday. So here's what we're going to do for the month of January. We're going to see how this works out. On the Wednesday nights that Arkansas plays at 6 o'clock, inside the Hog Pen Weekly Show will be a post-game edition of the 6 o'clock game. So I believe when Arkansas goes down to Georgia, I closed out my schedule, or I'd open it back up. I believe when Arkansas goes down to Georgia, they're going to play the early game on SEC Network at 6 o'clock. So that means we'll be coming on about 8:15, basically do a post-game recap show, and that'll be our weekly show for that. On the Wednesday nights when Arkansas has the late game, and they play at 8 o'clock on ESPN2 or SEC Network or whatever, we're going to do a pregame show. We'll go at either 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Kind of depends on everybody's schedules and how things are going at that point. But Sarah Swish and I were kind of talking through this as as Zach likes to call us, the basketball gurus, and we decided that would be easier to try to keep it more consistent and stay on that Wednesday night in that I guess kind of a similar time block. We're either going to be 6:30 with a pregame show, or we will be immediately following the final horn if the Hogs play the early game at 6 o'clock. So no worries. We will get this out there in plenty of time for everybody. And then during the game, we'll also be tweeting out, hey, don't forget about our post game coming up at, approximately 8:15. That if they play the early game, I'm going to say probably 8:15 is about when we'll start. Yeah, we'll get everybody's we'll get the fresh hot takes for the better or for the worse while they're right there on everybody's brain. So I hope that answers your question, Jesse, and we'll be promoting that coming up, starting with I guess the week of the Georgia game, which would be the week after this one. So let's see what else we got here. There we go. There's Mama Linda into the house. Hey MC, Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you too. Glad to see you've made it in here with us tonight. Okay, so we're going to switch gears. We were talking about basketball prior to the break, but we do have a little bit of breaking news, and I'm going to go ahead and thank you, sir. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here, and this is from Matt Zenitz of 247 Sports. Says that Arkansas is expected to hire Missouri State co-offensive coordinator Ronnie Fouch as the new wide receivers coach. Fouch is a former Washington and Indiana State quarterback, previously worked under Bobby Petrino at both Louisville and Missouri State. All right, D-Mad, what's your immediate thought here?
I pulled up his Wikipedia page. He was a quarterback at Washington for 3 years.
Okay.
Started 8 of 12 games in the 2008 season. 1,300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Not what I would call great.
Yeah, as a player, that's not exactly what you're looking for.
But he might know a lot about receiving coaches,
right?
Is knowing what the quarterback wants, and who knows what more of a quarterback wants than a former quarterback.
Yeah.
They have an idea when it comes to how hard they want this route run. They know it's receivers are all about timing. Like if you can have better timing with your quarterback, that's why when people are talking about they stay late with the quarterback, it is a real thing because they're trying to time up that 3-yard slant, that 5-yard slant, that 10-yard hitch, the back shoulder throws. They're trying to get all that timed up. And if you have somebody that has been in both sides of the equation there, you might be able to also kind of get that figured out a little bit better. And he also understands what Petrino wants because let's be honest, Kenny Guyton knew what Bryles wanted. He's been a Bryles guy the entire time. And Petrino, he's a different type of coordinator. The receivers are going to be challenged this year. Everybody on that offense is going to be challenged this year. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's to put it lightly.
I mean, we've got some talent on that offensive wide receiver, the wide receiver group. I mean, it is. We had almost all the receivers come back this year, and that could be taken one of two ways. That could be taken kind of like a slap in the face that nobody really wanted them, but at the same time, it was more to the point of they believed in Pittman. They wanted to be here, and they understood what was going on. They understood that last year was not entirely their fault, and I kind of have hope because, you know, he has worked with Petrino for a number of years. He's followed Petrino to 3 jobs now. He knows what he's looking for, and he knows exactly how he wants those routes ran and can convey that to the receiver group. Probably in a nicer way than Petrino,
but I mean, if he's worked with the guy in the past, he knows what's expected of him. You know, he knows what he should expect from Coach Petrino, and that familiarity can play a huge role. And speaking of familiarity with Coach Bobby Petrino, also in this week you had Texas A&M wide receiver Jordan Anthony was in the portal. He's committed to come to Arkansas to play football, but not only play football but run track.
I think FQ Arkansas said he was visiting this week, and so that was a major deal with it.
Excuse me. Yeah. And being able to run track and, I mean, let's face it, you know, if you're going to run track, what better place to do it than, you know, at Arkansas? I mean, they're well known for the track, success.
Was it 46 titles now?
Something ridiculous. I mean, it's just beyond ridiculous. And staying with the wide receiver theme, Mama Linda comes in and says, I want to see Satania more active. I think we all do. I mean, I think, you know, Satania was one of the 2 guys that when Kenny Guyton decided that he was going to leave, and we'll touch on that here in just a minute, you know, he was very vocal about that if it wasn't for Coach Guyton, he wouldn't be a Hog. My, I guess, counterpoint to that would be for Isaiah Satania to sit down with Coach Petrino and look at old footage of Joe Adams, because I think you could put Satania in that same role that Joe Adams played, kind of like that slot receiver. Now I'm not saying he's as good as Joe Adams, but you know, or Jerry is either one. But he's got the speed. You know, I think he's got pretty good hands. We haven't seen him as much as I thought we would this year. But let's face it, there was a lot of things that we didn't see.
There was a lot to be desired this year.
So, you know, I think Satania, if, you know, we'll see what happens. If he's going to leave, I don't think he'll leave till the spring portal. I think he may come and go through spring ball, try to get an idea of what his role is going to be. But like you said, this entire offense is going to be challenged, and everybody's going to have to earn their spot. I don't think there's going to be anything given.
Do you think Petrino's going to tell them?
Let me talk to you.
Maybe. You know, it might be a little more colorful than just that. It may be more in line with like an uncensored Stone Cold rant. I don't know. And at times, I mean, I feel like that's what this team needed at times too, because
they need. So forgive me for this. I've always believed there always needs to be an asshole of coach.
I agree.
At least one. It seemed like nobody really had that this year.
Yeah.
And you know Pittman's not going to do it. He's kind of more of a relaxed, laid-back type. Mm-hmm. Also, we need to talk about the offensive line coach. He's starting to kind of he's low-key put in a pretty good portal class. Yeah. And I think we talked about the signing period right before we left for vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly have good feelings about him too. And let me tell you this: if he doesn't, Petrino's going to let him know.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I think there will be more accountability across the board on offense this year.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like at times last year there was just the accountability was not there. There was no.
I felt like it was call this or we're running this play. As no checks, there's no check with me. Right. We are running the play. And with a 4-year starter, you don't do that.
No, you got to show. I mean, if you've had a guy that's a 4-year starter, you got to show him that you trust him a little bit, and you give it. You at least give him options. Be like, okay, here's the play, but if ... then you've got this, or this that you can go to.
And it's a magical word that we like to use called trust.
Yes,
you have to trust your players that they understand what is going on, and you also have to trust the guy that is. Honestly, most important person on the football field is the quarterback. Yep. You got to believe that he knows what the defense is doing. He's studied the film. He's put in the work, and you've got to be able to trust him to make the right call. Because at the end of the day, the offense goes as the quarterback goes.
100%. And speaking of that quarterback and his new home,
I'm not mad.
Jay is a Knight. He went to UCF to go play for Gus Malzahn.
His name is Sir KJ now.
Sir KJ. I like that. That's pretty funny. Yeah. First off, let me say, hey, best of luck to you, man. I'm glad you went outside the SEC. We don't have to play him. So
he's been compared to Cam Newton his entire life.
His entire career. Yeah.
Who better to go play with than the guy that coached him?
Yeah.
I have no problems with it.
No, I don't either. I mean,
I hope he wins the Heisman over there. Honestly, it'd be cool if we played him in a bowl game. I think he'd get a nice little ovation. That is if we make it to a bowl game.
Right. Yeah. You're taking a big assumption there that Arkansas is going to make one next year. So I had seen several different potential targets for him. I thought TCU made sense because he could reunite with Bryles. We saw a little bit of the stuff to South Carolina. I never really bought that because if there was maybe one place
why Rocket went to him.
Well, I don't either, because if there was one place that struggled as much on the offensive line as we did, it was South Carolina. So I didn't really understand that move by Sanders, but he had his reasons. I think KJ in a Gus Malzahn offense, that could be fun to watch, man. That could be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I saw somebody, actually KJ took a screenshot of somebody's tweet that said, I don't have bad feelings for Poopall, Catalan, or KJ. And he basically posted it and said, I mean, this is kind of how people feel. I got to take Catalan out of that just because of the Texas thing. But, I mean, it doesn't really bother me at all, especially if you go to out-of-conference foe. Like, especially with KJ, like, I have nothing but respect for him. Go off. Go do your thing. You can't be on my wall now. And it makes me sad, but
and unfortunately, man, this is where we're at in college football right now. The days of, is KJ going to be the last 4-year guy that we have at Arkansas? That's a solid contributor.
Probably.
I mean, if you think about it, because most of these other guys, either they're coming to us from the portal or they're leaving after a year or two here to go play somewhere else. And it's just the way it is now between the portal and NIL and everything else. Unfortunately, it comes down to you can't really get attached to any one player like you could in the past. There is no DMAC to get attached to now. There is no Matt Jones.
I thought you were going to say DMAT. I'm sorry. I thought you were attached to me for a second.
DMAC.
My fault. My fault. It's on me.
They're kind of interchangeable there. So
I wonder if there's a correlation there. I don't know.
But, if you think about it, you think about some of the names from the past. McFadden, Peyton Hillis, Felix Jones, Matt Jones, Marcus Monk, Cedric Cobbs, some of those guys that people just kind of gravitated to. And I think every one of those guys I named off except for Felix Jones is a native Arkansan. sometimes that plays.
What about your favorite player, Madre Hill?
Madre's another one, man. Madre is golly, Madre was a dude, man. It was fun to watch him play.
I just see the smile on your face every time I say that name.
34, man. There's just something about a running back wearing number 34 and just lighting folks up. I mean, it just feels right. So that was, you start talking about Madre Hill, I'm gonna start having good memories real quick.
Richard Wright just pulled one out. As much as Austin Allen didn't really tell us, or like Austin Allen kind of failed us at the end, I don't put the blame on him with that.
Yeah.
Which the Allens, like, I think it kind of got to be like the Houston Nutt, Casey Dick era, like where he just got tired of never mind. But yeah,
I get it with the Allens. I think you can throw them into that mix too, and if you want to look at the trajectory of Brandon Allen's career, from having his truck set on fire to setting passing records. I mean,
I think he's still backing up in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
He's I think, what is this? This would be about 8 years in now.
7 or 8 years in. He's probably got a good little nest egg now. Yeah, that's an NFL pension right there. So, hey, I mean, you're getting to go to the games on Sunday. You don't have to worry about, getting your head knocked off by, TJ Watt or somebody like that. And you still get that paycheck, and he was at Cincinnati backing up Joe Burrow. And then I think he's at San Francisco now.
Yeah. I want to say, man, I don't think it's somewhere in California or that area. For sure. But I just can't remember.
He's held on to a job in the league. And I mean, that's been impressive for him to hold on to it for this long, with the way, all the turnover and everything is in the league. And turnover. I mean, let's talk about another one. Jaheim Thomas to the portal. That's both of our starting linebackers hitting the portal because Chris Paul ended up down at Ole Miss. They've just gathered up all the gold in the transfer portal.
They have, and it's not good. It's
not for everybody else.
It's not good.
I got a couple dear friends that are huge Ole Miss fans, and I mean they're talking playoffs next year, and rightfully so.
I can't blame them.
Yeah, between what they got coming back and what they got coming in with the portal, I think they're setting up for a banner year. But Jaheim Thomas was leading. I believe he was the leading tackler on our defense.
He had 99 tackles or something like that.
Yeah, he was right there, close to 100, and didn't get it. But there was a little bit of controversy over that. Something about he got held out in the Missouri game when he could get 100 tackles, and I don't know. That Missouri game was such a debacle. I try not to remember any more of it than I have to. But you can't take it away from them. They took care of business. So anyway, Jaheim Thomas, another former Razorback, hitting the portal.
I think he's headed to Wisconsin.
That's
going for his old coach. Luke Fickell?
Oh, Luke Fickell. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Because he did come in from Cincinnati, didn't he? So
he did.
Yeah.
Played at Arkansas 1 year, came to Arkansas the next, back to Madison. Back to Wisconsin.
Up to Wisconsin to play for Luke Fickell. And that's speaking of Luke Fickell, that's where our man Kenny G has songbirded off to. He's off to Wisconsin. He's going to be a wide receiver, take the same position, wide receivers coach, going to Wisconsin, coach for Luke Fickell. To me, this feels like a move for stability. Because Fickell's not in any danger of getting fired. Right. If you face the facts here, you could say that this entire staff, even though you brought in Bobby Petrino and Eric Mateos to kind of resculpt this offense, I mean, it's basically do or die, man. You got to come in and I think you got to get to 6 wins next year, or we go back into the whole coaching search mode. And I mean, honestly, I don't want to do that. I just want to win. I don't care who the coach is. I just want to win.
I think not Petrino. Geez, I think
Freudian slip.
Yeah, I think Pittman is a good man fit for the job. I really do. But it's kind of a weird thing. He has to have the coaches around him.
Yeah,
because he's not going to elevate a team by himself.
No,
and that's what it is. It is a team sport. So you've got to build the pieces around you, and you've got to have somebody like Pittman to be in there and be able to make the tough decisions, even though he likes to say, I don't know, in press conferences.
Man, that he's got to stop that. He has got to stop that, because that's what infuriates people like me, is when, if there's better ways to say it. And I've talked to some people who have connections inside the program, like with the PR guys and the social media guys and all that. They've had conversations with him and be like, look, you can't say, I don't know. You can say this, or this, but you can't say, I don't know. And he just basically ignores them and does his own thing. But
I think it's just he's a 60-year-old man, and it's hard to teach a new dog or old dog new tricks sometimes.
Yeah.
And as many times as I told my grandpa, it's not battery, it's battery.
Yeah, he's still gonna say battery.
He still said battery every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a big piece of it. But we all got so tired. I mean, we see the jokes all the time on Twitter about anytime something comes up, it's that same picture of him looking like, huh? And I don't know is the caption on it. So I've been guilty of it myself a few times. So
I'm looking down because I don't want to laugh.
You know the picture I'm talking about, man. I mean, it just.
I've been on Twitter. I've seen too much.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? But so we lose Kenny G, and the breaking news earlier is we're going to replace him with Ronnie Fouch, I believe was the coach's name, from Missouri State. I know nothing about Ronnie Fouch other than he was the co-offensive coordinator at Missouri State.
The good thing about a wide receivers coach is they can't kill you.
This is true. Yep.
They will not kill your offense.
We'll see if he can come in and build the relationships with the ones that are on staff, already on the roster, and the other guys that are coming in. There's still a big wide receiver out there in the portal. Another one from A&M, Evan Stewart, I believe is his name.
He was like in Petrino's offense, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. So, maybe there's hope for him that you can between Petrino and Jordan Anthony, maybe you can pull him in, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's I don't know, man. There's going to be a lot to go over with spring ball. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I mean, it starts with QB1. A lot of people are thinking the transfer from Boise State's going to come in and take it from day one, and I don't know that he will. He might, but I'm not writing off Jacoby Criswell just yet.
I think we got a good quarterback room going. Miss Linda, I was in that little town of Malvern just earlier today. So, I didn't see any signs that said anything about Madre Hill. They need to get on that ASAP, though.
Yeah, they hey, look, I guarantee you could go down to a little cafe there in Malvern right now, and if you start talking about number 34 when he was playing not only for the Hogs but for Malvern High there, you'll get somebody to engage in conversation with you, no doubt about it.
I'm sure I could. But kind of going back to the quarterback situation, I don't think it's just a Boise State guy. I think I kind of have some eggs in the basket of Malachi Singleton and Criswell too.
Yeah,
because Singleton he's a speedster. He's kind of got the same ability that Hornsby's got, and I think he's got that ability and able to kind of wiggle around stuff. So, I mean, we have a lot of options in that backfield right now. And
interesting that you brought up Malachi Singleton, because nobody's talking about that kid. And I mean, when he, when Arkansas signed him, he was one of the prized recruits of that class. And
he's been real patient back there.
He's been very patient. He's waited his turn. And if he's a speedster with a good arm, and he's looking at the guy that coached Lamar Jackson to a Heisman, I mean, that would have to excite him a little bit, I would think. So,
have to.
We'll see. Well, all right. I think that's going to about wrap us up tonight. We're going to cut things just a little bit short because, I mean, honestly, until Saturday when Arkansas takes on Auburn, there's not a whole lot else that we can go over. I feel like we've covered pretty much all of it. I'm going to hit this one more time.
Hey, baseball, 45 days.
45 days till baseball starts. I got high hopes again. Is it Omaha or bust every year now?
It's always been like that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's just Omaha or bust, And coming off last year, I think Dave Van Horn and that staff and everybody else will be hungry.
I do remember the years of we want to go to the super regionals.
Yeah.
And we've kind of gotten to the point where we expect super regionals because we got put out at our own regional, didn't we, this year?
Yeah.
And
got embarrassed, honestly. I mean,
okay, time out. Just throwing it back real quick. TCU beat us by 40 runs the entire year.
Yeah,
we played them in like 3 or 4 games.
We played them in that opening classic
in Houston.
At Houston,
and then we played them twice at the regional.
Yeah, they beat us twice in the regional.
And they had scored. There was a run differential of 30, at least 30. I don't know.
It was bad.
There was no team in the entire schedule that beat us as badly as they did.
No,
I'm still on the bandwagon of they had something. They had a tipped pitch. They had our pitch calm. They had something. They are very close to Houston. In Houston, we may have a problem here.
They didn't have anybody banging on trash cans out in the bullpen.
Hey, listen, I wasn't there. I can neither confirm or deny, but I know this. It might be a question to be asked.
I mean, I think, when you start talking about intercepting radio frequencies and stuff, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's not that difficult to get on Amazon and find a little scanner. And I'm not saying it
automatically know the pitch,
but
there's no way. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
I love a good conspiracy theory, man. Anybody that knows me knows I love a good tinfoil story. And that would make me feel a little better. That would make me feel a little better about the way Arkansas just got manhandled in the regional. But 45 days out. We'll start talking baseball here in a few weeks as we get closer to that season opener, and then they're in another one of those classics. But I think it's back in Arlington this year, isn't it?
The national champion. We beat them almost 2 games in a series, but TCU over there.
Yeah. Yep. Makes you wonder, man.
Yeah.
Hey, that'll give us something to talk about. We may have to do a podcast exclusive baseball preview. Maybe see if we can't get us.
As you can tell, I was very animated about that. I don't know if you could tell or not.
Oh yeah. I'm with you completely, man. Because it just didn't. It took. I remember when we got eliminated from the regional. I was texting my family that goes to a lot of baseball games, and I was just like, well, my entire summer just opened up because I was planning on watching baseball till the end of June. So
I almost took off that week of the College World Series.
I had a buddy and his wife that bought tickets to last year's College World Series. They bought them like the day they went on sale. And he's like, if we're there, we're there. But if we're not, we're going anyway. And so they went up and, enjoyed it. But he said it would have been a lot more fun had Arkansas been there. So
I only got 3 weeks of PTO this year. I don't think my fiance would be too happy if I spent one of them on a College World Series trip. I don't know that to be true, but
that would, man, to go up there from beginning to end, that would get expensive before it was over with. You'd have to.
That's a lot of baseball.
That is a lot of baseball, man. I think the only way you could pull that off would be to get an RV or something and do it that way, because the hotel costs would be astronomical.
MC, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, I said in the preview we'd keep it between the ditches, man. We're swerving all over the road, but we got it between the ditches. So as we approach the exit here, man, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just one.
Okay.
I know what you did, TCU. I know what you did. That's my final thought.
We need to get Jason Peters, that used to be at Channel 7, and get him to investigate that and see what's going on there. So
I know what they did. Christian College. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Hey, I have found out that anytime, like the softball games that I played in, the teams you had to watch cheating the most were always the church teams. So
I'm just saying.
I'm throwing that out there. I know that because I played on one. So there you go. All right. We've continued to go all over the board tonight. Appreciate everybody jumping in and being a part of the show. We're going to be back next week prior to the Georgia game. Georgia game 6:00. So we will be doing post game on that. So we'll be on probably 8:15, somewhere around in there. Hopefully we'll have a couple of big conference wins to talk about, but we'll see what happens. And it starts Saturday with Auburn. So until Saturday at the Auburn game, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next week.